Hi, my name is Sylvie. I am a certified health coach and I help women feel great and lose weight through fasting and whole food nutrition. And today's video is about intermittent fasting over 40 for weight loss. What I'm going to do is I'm going to explain quickly why intermittent fasting is so effective for weight loss after 40. And then I'm going to give you my top 9 most effective tips for intermittent fasting over 40 for weight loss. The main way intermittent fasting works to help you lose weight and feel great after 40 and before that as well is that it helps you become more insulin sensitive. And as you age, you become insulin resistant. Most of us after the age of 40 struggle with some form of insulin resistance. Insulin resistance is not a good thing because it means that your body needs to produce more and more insulin every time you eat to get the same result and to process the glucose that comes from your food to create energy. So not only will that make you feel more hungry, you'll suffer from cravings, you'll have poor sleep, less energy. It will also cause you to gain weight, and particularly in the abdominal region. Abdominal fat is often considered a sign of insulin resistance. And so that's just my most basic explanation of why intermittent fasting helps you lose weight after 40. Now let's get to my top 9 tips. Tip number 1, start with a modified fast. I talk about modified fasting all the time in most of my videos. It's always part of any intermittent fasting tip that I share because I would say it's my number 1 recommendation. If you want to lose weight and improve your overall health, a modified fast is a great starting point. I had been struggling with not being able to lose weight for many years, and I had tried intermittent fasting. But the problem for most of us when we get started with any type of fasting is the fact that our bodies are so out of balance. We are so carb dependent. Even intermittent fasting may seem very, very difficult. Of course, you could just start with 12 hours and go up from there slowly. That might be a good option. But really, if you want to get the most bang for your buck, modified fast is definitely the most effective method. So what is a modified fast? It is based on the concept of the fasting mimicking diet, which was created by Dr. Walter Longo. It's a prolonged fast, usually 5. I have a menu plan that's for 5 days. I have another one that's for 10 days. And usually you get to consume about 40 to 50% your regular calorie intake. And that is really the main factor that will help kickstart the healing process. This severe form of calorie restriction will start getting your body to repair itself. The process is called autophagy, and it means that your body is eating up dead cells and damaged cells and replacing them with new ones. It is a miraculous process, and when you do a modified fast, your body will start repairing itself. And also the lack of food will most likely mean that your body will run out of glycogen and will have to start running on ketones, which means that your body will start using fat for energy and you will become fat adapted, which is a really good, important first step before you start with intermittent fasting. And my tip number 2 is that you reduce your carb intake. As I mentioned already, as you age, you become less insulin sensitive. And so reducing the amount of carb that you consume will help deal with that. And I typically recommend a moderate amount of carb, which is usually under 150 grams a day. So that would be a good place to start. At first, you won't be too sure of how many carbs you're consuming every day. It may be a good idea to start tracking your carb intake using an app like Chronometer or MyFitnessPal, and just make sure that you stay below 150 grams. You could also even try the keto diet, see how that works for you, see if it helps you feel better. That's also another option that you could consider. And my tip number 3 is that you experiment with different types of intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting is not just about skipping breakfast. There are various methods that you can implement. And obviously, like I mentioned already, you can just gradually increase how long you fast overnight. That's one way. But you could also try the 5-2 method, which means that you are consuming 500 calories a day, 2 days a week. Or you could go with the Eat Stop Eat method, which is fasting for 24 hours twice a week. There's also alternate day fasting, which is very effective for many women. That involves 36-hour fast twice a week. So as you can see, there's many options. And so you can start experimenting after your modified fast. My tip number 4 is that you eat whole foods. It may seem kind of obvious, but sometimes when people start implementing intermittent fasting in their lives, they feel really hungry at first, and they kind of feel justified to binge on junk food when they start eating again. But I don't want you to do that. So what I recommend is that you decide in advance how you're going to be breaking your fast each day, and you stick with that. So even maybe you can have it all ready so that when you get to eat again, you can just eat right away and you can eat that wholesome food. What I like to do when I break my fast is I like to have a green superfood shake. It's filled with nutrients and it's satisfying. And then a little bit after that, maybe half an hour to an hour later, sometimes longer, I like to have a huge salad. So again, you could prepare your salad in advance, put it in a bowl, like when you're getting close to that time, maybe when you can break your fast, it's all ready to go and you can eat your salad. So that's an option. Some people recommend that you break a fast with bone broth. That's also something you can try. I mean, you can just eat an avocado. There's so many things you can do. Just make sure that it's whole food. You want to give your body the nutrients it needs to function and heal. It's super important. My tip number 5 is that you stay hydrated. Drinking enough water is obviously very, very important. A lot of us don't drink enough water. So if you want to lose weight as well, that's a great tip because it'll help you. Sometimes we feel hungry when all we need is water, so it'll help you feel fuller and more satisfied. So make sure you drink. Usually the typical recommendation is about half your body weight in pounds. You drink that in ounces of water. For example, if you weigh 140 pounds, you will drink 70 ounces of water. My tip number 6 is that you stay tuned to your body. Fasting requires you to ignore your body's signals a little bit because you may feel hungry and you're not eating. However, I want you to practice listening to your body so that you start understanding the different hungers that you may be experiencing, and also to monitor your energy level, your mood. Just start paying attention to how you feel. My tip number 7 is that you stay active. At first, when you start fasting, you may find it difficult to work out, for example, but it's okay. I mean, there's a couple of options. You could just wait to work out after you eat. So you could just do that when you're just starting out. Or you can still work out in a fasted state. And at first you may notice that you don't perform as well, but just keep at it. Just keep working out even if you don't perform as well. And you'll notice that with time, your performance and your endurance will improve. even in a fasted state, as your body gets used to using ketones for energy. Again, it's all about becoming more metabolically flexible and teaching your body to use different sources of energy. My tip number 8 is make sleep a priority. When you don't sleep enough, for one thing, you'll tend to want to eat more, and also you'll make food choices that are not as wise, most likely, because you'll be craving carbs. Now, it's pretty common for people over 40 to struggle with sleep somewhat more. So there's a couple of things you can do to help with that, and intermittent fasting is one of them because it helps improve your circadian rhythm. Another thing you can do is to make sure that you go to bed at the same time each night, so that'll help improve your sleep. And there's also a product that I found that really helps improve the quality of my sleep, and it's called tart cherry concentrate. The tart cherry concentrate will help your body produce natural melatonin, which will help with sleep. So that's something else you could try if you struggle with staying asleep at night. And my last tip number 9, is to create a sustainable lifestyle. Intermittent fasting needs to be a lifestyle, and so the method you choose and the practices that you implement in your life need to be sustainable long term. It needs to be, you need to find a way to practice intermittent fasting that doesn't make you feel crazy deprived, that doesn't make you feel grumpy, unhappy, stressed out. So find an approach that you enjoy, that makes you feel great, and that you can sustain long term. Okay, so these are my top most effective tips for intermittent fasting over 40 for weight loss. That should be a good starting point. If you follow these tips, you should be able to not only achieve your weight loss goals, but also you'll be well on your way to a long and productive life as you benefit from the health and longevity aspects of intermittent fasting. And that's what it's all about. Intermittent fasting is about making you feel amazing and about staying active and healthy as long as possible. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching.